Hey guys, Yirby here bringing you some more Pokemon battles. I'm facing some guy named Gabaskull. He sends out his Cloyster. I send out my 10% luck. I go for that fake out, then that close combat, because that is how we deal with Cloysters around here. Yes. I do miss Cloyster. I like how my Pokemon synchronized now. You know, I got my Latios for the flying, and you know, both Breloom and Infernape for my starters, but, you know, whatever. I still miss Cloyster. So I go for that U-turn, switch to my Latios, predicting that Earthquake, so I'm just being fantastic right now. So I go for the Surf. It's my first real mistake, because he switches right to his Chansey and takes that like a boss. But what he doesn't take like a boss is the fact that I have a Psyshock. So that is devastated. So that is one dead Chansey, and it is now 6-4, feeling pretty good. He goes out to his Sheeninja. I tried to kill it immediately with a Hidden Power Fire. But he is, of course, sashed, because that's the only way Sheeninjas run. Any other thing would just be horrible. Like Sheeninja with, like, Burn Orb. Toxic Orb Sheeninjas, you heard it here first. So he poisons me, then protects, so that's not very fun. And I'm losing way too much health with that. So I use Hidden Power Fire like a derp again. He sends out his Politoed, so that does less than nothing, even with a critical hit. So I'm taking ridiculous amounts of damage. And I really like my Latios, so I'm going to switch out, go to my 5% Pleasure, and he uses Protect, so that's great for me. So now we proceed to poison each other, and stare at each other and glare at each other like idiots while secreting toxic substances. So I choose out, go to my 50% Pain, he uses the Parasong, I go straight for the Seed Bomb while he switches out into his Sheeninja, and that was just a really good move on his part. I really should have predicted that. Probably gone for the Rock Slide. But we all make mistakes. So I switch out, go to my 5% Pleasure. He goes for the Swords Dance, and I make the best move in the history of the game right now. He goes for the Toxic, and I go for the Toxic, and I do 1 damage. Boss! So that is one dead Sheeninja! Never use that thing. Thing's awful. He goes out to his Golurk, I go out to my 50%. Concentrated Power of Will, he goes for the Dynamic Punch and does Squat. He switches out to Politoed, I go for the Will-O-Wisp, and that doesn't do anything because he's already poisoned. I just realized something. It says Toxic when it's supposed to say Poisoned. Interesting. So I switch out, go to my 20% skill while I know he's going to use Poison on me. Such is fantastic. So I know my Latios are going to die, and I just want to take the Politoed with me. So he goes for the Protect, I go for the Psyshock, and I know he's probably not going to go for Protect twice, because there's only a 50% chance of success. So I go for Psyshock again to kill, and it doesn't kill! But Poison will take it out, so that's fantastic. So he kills me with a Scald, and I kill him with leftover poison damage. Score is now 5-2. And that's just good for me. So he sends out Golurk, I switch out, go to my 50% Pain, and go straight for that Seed Bomb, and that is dead Golurk. Yes, so he switches into his Gyarados, I go for the Seed Bomb, that's 55%, so another one will kill. He goes for the Dragon Dance, I go for the Seed Bomb again, because I'm locked into it, because I'm Choice Scarf, and he goes for the Bounce. You do not see a lot of Gyaradoses that run Bounce. So I switch out to my Chansey to hopefully just take it and go for the counter. He gets a critical hit and a Parahax. What? Whatever, man. So he kills me with a Waterfall. Whatever. So I'm mad, so I go out to my 100% reason to remember the name. Switch to the Gyarados. Go for the Waterfall for the kill. That is a dead Gyarados. Good game, Gabaskull. Hope to battle you again sometime. Who's ready for round 2? Against Keyfonne, I send out my 50% Pain. He sends in his Aladad. A shout out to Shofu, I'm sure. He goes for the U-turn while I go for the Spore, which tells me he's faster. Not good. But, you know, knowledge is power. So he goes out to Shofu. I put him right to sleep. And that will not be bothering me much of the battle, so that is good. So I go out to my 20% skill to go straight for that Psyshock to take that guy out. He knows exactly what my plot is, switches into his Ninetales or Sunny. But that does not take the Psyshock well. Oh my gosh, 78%! Dang it! So I'm wondering if this thing might be Choice Scarfed as well. I doubt it because his Darmanitan was already Choice Scarfed, but some people run kind of weird sets. So yeah, he goes for the Protect, I go for the Psyshock. Tells me he's definitely not Scarfed because anyone that has Protect and Scarf on the same Pokemon shouldn't be playing Pokemon. So yeah. So I go for the Psyshock, and that is a dead Sunny. He dies, switches out into his Bouse. I'm expecting an Ice Shard, so I switch out to my Blissey. And he goes for the Ice Beam. Now, I've seen a lot of exotic sets on Lapras. You know, even some Dragon Dance ones, but I've never seen Ice Beam. I've always seen Ice Shard favored over Ice Beam because of Lapras' speed. So that was interesting. So I go for the Toxic. He switches out to his Shofu, so that doesn't do anything because he's already asleep. So I switch out, go to my 20% skill. He stays in and sleeps, and that is fine because he can waste as many turns out as he wants. He goes out to his Drug Dealer, which is probably one of the worst moves in the game because I'm going to go for Psyshock, and that is an instant kill. Oh my gosh. Drug Dealers get destroyed by psychic attacks. Note that. Note that. So he goes out to his Bouse. I switch out, go to my 15% Concentrated Power of Will. And he switches out, goes to his Shofu, so that's, you know, I can't really do anything here. He can't really do anything to me. So he switches out, goes to his Bouse. I go for the Taunt, just to make sure that if he woke up, he couldn't bulk up, I guess. That was a weird move. So I go for the Toxic, like I should have done. Predicting the switch. Last turn. This turn I obviously don't predict the switch. He goes for the Thunderbolt, and he gets a Cursed Body. Huh? And even if he hadn't got a Cursed Body, that was only doing about 30% to me, and I could heal that off. So that's hilarious. So at this point, he decides to stay in and watch his Lapras slowly die. Just a word of the wise. If someone has a wall and it's, you know, it's walling you pretty well, you know, he's using Ice Beam on me and it's doing about 16%, and I have a recovery move. That's getting walled pretty well. And you're poisoned or you're burned, switch out. You know, predict what they're going to do. I'm obviously just going to try to burn or poison whatever's going to come in. So send in a Steel type, or send in a Poison type, or send in a, I don't know, Fire type to resist burns. Because you shouldn't sit there and watch your Pokemon die unless it's absolutely your last resort. You know, unless you have to use that thing as death fodder. And I know those situations happen, but I don't think that's what happened here. I just legitimately think that was a bad play, or he didn't like his Lapras. So, you know, just word to the wise, don't do that. At the very least, he could have had a Lapras set with Dragon Dance and just powered the crap up while I was here. But if he did, I would have just destroyed him with my Ditto. Teehee. So yeah, he's gotten a few critical hits. He's gotten the Psychic defense drop. But at the same time, I still have the recovery, you know, which I'm going to do next turn. So he's going to try to, you know, make one last-ditch effort to kill me, get a critical hit maybe. But it doesn't work. I get recovered up, and the Toxic kills him. So, yeah. Don't use Lapras, by the way. Just a shout out. They're a better Pokemon. You know, Lapras isn't bad, but, you know, just like Charizard, there's better options. So he goes out to his Pizza Hut, and I think this thing has a close combat and fire, so I wasn't scared at all. Then I remembered, oh, Wild Charge. Ya dumb. Why on earth didn't I think of that? So he takes quite a bit from recovery damage. I go for Recover. I'm pretty sure it won't kill, just because it, you know, didn't do that much last time, but he gets a critical hit! That does kill. Darn it! Whatever. I don't care. I'm not mad. So I see he's a Life Orb, not a Choice Scarf, so I can go for that safe Psyshock, and that is a dead Pizza Hut. Should go to CC's anyway. CC's brings out an Aladat. I know he's going to go for the U-turn, so I go to my 5% Pleasure. He does go for the U-turn, switches out to his Asleep Shofu. I get a free switch, basically, to my 20% skill, assuming he doesn't switch, which he doesn't, so that's fantastic. I get the free Psyshock to kill whatever he switches into or stays in. And it doesn't kill! Look at that! Only does 80%. What? That's just not cool. So I switch into my 50% Pain to take whatever hit he throws at me. He switches into his Shofu, so I'm going to try to go for that super power, do about 60%. So then next time I can do 40% and kill. And I get a critical hit and kill him one shot, so I'm not complaining. Yes! So he switches into his Aladat, goes for that Flare Blitz. And I notice that he only has a few % left. So I'm just going to switch in my Blissey and have him kill himself. Ha ha. So that's a good game, Keyfonne. This guy was an awesome guy. He complimented my skills and said he'd check out my channel and subscribe. So shout out to you. Thanks for being an awesome guy. Round 3 against Zadx. He sends out Sin blah blah. I go for that fake out and then go for that close combat, but he's scarfed, so he goes faster. He goes for that rock throw, and that hits 5 times because of that ability, a skill link. But look at this. Look at this. Against a sweeper, against a non-defensive sweeper, that doesn't even kill. How can you justify using a Pokemon that can't even kill a completely non-defensive Pokemon? Terrible. So he goes after my Blastoise, I go for the U-turn, he goes for the Aqua Jet, should have predicted that, and I die. So, crap. He goes out, so I got up to my 50% pain. He goes up to his Typhlosion, I make the good move this time actually, and go for the Spore instead of the Seed Bomb, so that's good for me. I got to my 20% skill, and I know almost everything on this team is weak to my Latios, so that's good. So he stays in, and he's asleep, so I go for that Surf, and that kills. It also tells me he uses Choice Scarfed, so there's a less likelihood of another Pokemon on his team being Choice Scarfed. So he goes to his Cloyster, I go immediately for the Psyshock, and he goes for the Ice Shard, so that tells me this is a kind of strange set. Knowing that, I'm going to go straight for that Dragon Pulse, knowing that the Ice Shard probably won't kill, and that is a dead Cloyster. So, use your Cloysters better, man. Come on. Learn from me, my awesome Cloysters. So I got to my 50% pain. He switches out to his Conkeldurr. So I go for that Spore, and that is a Sleep Conkeldurr. Deja vu. So I send out my 50% concentrated power of will. He goes for the Earthquake and wakes up first turn. That is not good, but his Earthquake is disabled, and that is good. And that tells me he is scarfed or something weird, because he goes for Struggle now. And he gets a critical hit on Struggle. Ha! I don't care. So he switches back, goes to his Ferrothorn. I heal up, and that is fantastic. And now I'm just going to burn his Ferrothorn, because I really hate those things. So I go for the Will-O-Wisp. He goes for the Power Whip. That would have done a really decent chunk if that hadn't been burned. And his Whip has now been cursed or disabled. So that's fantastic. So I go for the Taunt, and now he can't do anything to me. Ha 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 ha. So he struggles once and then realizes that there's pretty much nothing he can do to me at this point. So he forfeits, and that is a good game, Zadx. By the way, a little bit of reason why I haven't been uploading my Minecraft videos recently. The Monster Trap is just going absolutely terribly. Like, it couldn't have gone worse. I've made about 3 of them on the server, and nothing seems to work. So I'll start that once I figure out what I'm doing. So look forward to that, guys, and have an awesome, awesome day. I hope this day is the best day of your life. Yirby out.
And don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe.